Hey y'all, it's your girl Millie Chan, and on tonight's episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville, I'm just gonna go with certain parts because there were things that I really want to talk about. If you like it, I appreciate it. If you don't, I understand. But I gotta talk about this. Child, let me tell you something. This woman does not care nothing for Ariana Curry. Nothing. So Martell has sat down and he's making small talk. He's dropped the kids off and da 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 da. Then he says, I'm moving Ariana and my son into my investment property. Now I don't know. I don't know where she's living. Right? People say that she's working and all this other kind of stuff. But when she said, "Oh, okay," she'll like that. Like, did she say like maybe why didn't you move me into your investment property and why are you moving her in there? Then he goes on to explain why. Her lease is up, and then I don't want to have to move her somewhere else, and I pay for it. Marlene said, "That'd be nice. I mean, that is your baby mother." Ariana, she don't like you. Then Martell goes on to let us know that he's moving Ariana into the investment property because it is something that he owns. He cannot move her into the home with him because they're not married. She doesn't have a ring on her finger, so why not move them into somewhere that he owns? Why not put a ring on her finger? Why not marry her? And then put somebody in the investment property so you could make some money. Just because you own it and you don't have to pay no rent for your son and his mother to live, why can't you just put a ring on her finger? Then Marlene says, "Are you going to marry her one day? Have you ever thought about that?" Martell said, "Yeah." He was like, she's a good girl. Like, she could be the one. She could be the one. Ariana, you could be the one. You still hanging around here and he doesn't know if you're the one? And then Marlene says she's a nice person. I'm getting to know her. Then Martell is like, oh, okay, Mom, I'm glad to hear that because, it wasn't like that. She said, well, I had to adjust. I had to adjust to new stuff. She said, but I love the family that I had. She said, y'all was my whole world. Ariana, do you hear this? Do you hear this? You know who she's talking about. You know whose likeness that she's using. You can't be okay with this conversation. Then Marlene said, then that incident happened and I had to adjust to that new thing, with her. You know what that means? That means the incident is Martell got you pregnant. That's the incident that happened. And I am sure Marlene refers to you as a thing on a daily basis. I think that was a slip. In my heart of hearts, I promise, I think I can see Marlene calling her a thing every time Martell bring up her name. Girl, this woman don't like you. And then Martell thanked her for coming around because he said at one point you said you were not going to adjust. There was a moment that Martell's mother told him that she don't want nothing to do with you. I don't want you bringing around here. I don't want to see her, right? He thanked her for coming around. This woman don't like you. And then Martell goes on to say that people feel like she destroyed what I had. Yes, destroyed is the word that he used and she nodded to. And then Martell sits in his confessional and says that, she cried. Marlene cried when Mel and Martell got a divorce. And he says she's still affected by it. And he is affected by it. And the kids are affected by it. Girl, they don't like you. Martell has you around because you are the only one who will be around. Any woman that has seen him in any of this mess, you're it. You're just it by default. Martell is slow walking you to this woman. Right? Slow walking you. Like coming over to dinners, he appreciates it. And also, Martell said that he wants to make sure that you are going to be all that he needs you to be. Now, I don't know what you need him to be, but he's waiting on you to be what you. Maybe, I mean, you need to ask, Ariane, are you asking the right questions? Maybe you could get a ring and then you could move in the house and then y'all could put the house up, for rent or something. Y'all can make some extra money. I don't know. I mean, that just makes sense to me. Let's keep moving. Next. Kimmy is pitiful. Wait, hold on. This is where I watched. So if you want something very clear, it's fantastic. But they're sitting at this table having a conversation that I realize now Kimmy should have had a long time ago. I didn't realize until Marceau said it, but Kimmy got with Maurice when Jalen was 13, I believe, right? And he's going back and forth saying that you can't treat him like we were raised when you're coming in when he's 13. Kimmy, you're just now having this conversation and Jalen has a W-2 and living on his own. You're just not having this conversation. Not when he was living in the house and you felt like he was treating your son less than. But it gets better. Hold on. She said it's frustrating talking to Maurice and saying the same thing over and over. But every now and then a nugget will drop. And someone will say something that's meaningful. So whatever you said about anything, and especially when it comes to your son, he didn't deem that to be meaningful, but he values what Marceau says. So everything you say falls on deaf ears because we do understand. You can't even get him to come in at a decent hour as a married man. That's crazy. These two still talking about Marquez. She took some birthday photos with Ken and they talked about Marquez in the year of 38 and how they ready to get rid of him. The only way to get rid of him is to sign the divorce papers. Let's keep going. I don't know why Tisha was so on Trish about Trish and Ken on her birthday photos. She asked her, like, isn't this your birthday? Like, why is he in your photos? Trish said, because I wanted him to be. Are you mad because Marceau wouldn't be in your photos? Like, I don't know. And I don't know why she was pressing that issue. And then she got on Nell, and Nell was like, wait a minute, let me talk to you because you didn't talk about my stuff. Let's talk about your stuff about these NDAs and y'all husbands getting women to sign NDAs. And then they pretend like they didn't hear the interview that Martell and Ariane did. You know doggone well they listened to that interview. Tisha already said she got a whole live on her page about it. This was crazy. I done talked about this already. Maurice trying to make Ken understand that, sir, you are with the married woman. Marceau is like, if anything happens, they're going to go to Marquez. He's talking about it's a technicality. No, it's her husband. That's crazy. Then Tisha's sitting over there when they get to talking about NDAs. And she's telling some, oh, the men over here. Let's go over here and talk to the men. Kimmy don't want to go over there because Maurice basically said the guys are going over here. Y'all stay over here. But Tisha said, let's go. Baby, Tisha jumped in Chris's face. Nell said, my husband don't answer to nobody but me. Okay? So what does Chris do? Double down and say, I don't have to answer to you, Tisha. I don't have to answer to you. Once again, Marceau making her look stupid. Kristen already told Tisha that he don't answer to nobody but Nell. And he also told Tisha he's already talked to her husband. Now she's standing out there in the middle of everybody out front looking crazy. And then Marceau says, we've already talked about it. What he say? Girl, take the hat off and go home. Y'all, this all I got. It's your girl, Millie Chud. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. Here's a PS. Marquez posted this. I just saw it this morning. So he apologized to Carlos King, and he's acknowledging that he has gotten the help that I guess Carlos suggested that he gets. And he said he's doing the work, getting counseling, and focusing on his healing and mental health. He said he's grateful for the conversation that he and Carlos had. And down here at the bottom, he says, maybe you'll let me back on the show. What do you think about this? And do you think he should come back on the show? Because when I saw this, I 100% agree with him. He is definitely Trish and Ken's storyline. I don't know about anybody else, but definitely Trish and Ken. And if you haven't checked out the parody already, it's up. Okay, y'all. Bye.